I'm FOX54's Kenesha Dees. Welcome you to the Week in Review, where we turn back the clock to the big local stories we've covered over the past 7 days. Here's a glimpse of what's coming your way in the next half hour. A massive fire destroys a portion of a Colbert County paper plant. We'll take you through the first 72 hours of that story. A North Alabama in vitro fertilization clinic will close its doors, further hurting access to therapeutic treatments for families-to-be. And you'll hear from the 3 people in the running for Huntsville City Council District 1 seat, in these and so much more coming your way. The top story this week comes from Decatur, where Police Chief Todd Pinion releases details of his executive plan to restore trust from his department. It's more than 10 months following the shooting death of Steve Perkins. Is his plan too little or too late? You're about to hear from community leaders and the chief himself. Decatur Chief of Police Todd Pinion officially released an executive plan that he hopes will, quote, strengthen the trust and relationships within the Decatur community. It's an expansion of Pinion's reform plan that was released back in May. Those plans include 6 major components that Pinion feels will help bridge the gap between community and the department. Pinion shared the 3 out of 6 components are already underway as the department signs an agreement with a firm to conduct an internal audit of DPD. He also shares he is in the process of preparing structured sessions with concerned Decatur citizens that he envisions will take place very soon this fall. It's an expansion of Pinion's reform plan that was released back in May. Demonstrators have been asking for the chief to resign, saying he's not taken much action on the Steve Perkins case. Chief Pinion is hoping this executive plan will improve the community's confidence in the police departments. The plan includes 6 major components that Pinion feels will help bridge the gap between community and the police department. Pinion shared that 3 out of the 6 components are already underway as the department signed an agreement with the firm to conduct an internal audit of DPD. He also shares he is in the process of preparing structured sessions with concerned Decatur citizens that he envisioned will take place soon this fall. Along with that plan, Pinion released a statement saying in part, quote, while it is impossible to guarantee that our community will never face another crisis like the one resulting in the loss of Mr. Perkins, I firmly believe that we can reduce the likelihood of such incidents and enhance our ability to respond effectively to trust and transparency issues, in part, quote. But is it enough? Mayor Tab Bowling believes it is. He shares with us in part, quote, I believe his plan can help bring about more public confidence in the Decatur Police Department. I'm confident all of these things are a step in the right direction, end quote.
The community members I spoke with say it does not align with community concerns. The chief's executive plans lay out these 6 points. He wants to develop a crisis management communication system and conduct structured sessions with citizens to voice their concerns. That plan also includes a review of current policies and procedures, and it aims to implement a support system for department leadership and start an officer wellness program. The last point is to secure confidence in the plan itself. NAACP President Rodney Gordon tells me this plan is supposed to be for the people, but he says the people were not even consulted or given an opportunity to share their thoughts.
Look like something that he got off the internet. All right, here's a plan to make your city better. There's no discipline plan, there's no plan of correction, there's no consequences, no zero tolerance. First of all, the plan should have included the policy, because that's the problem. The problem is not with the city. The problem is not with the kids. The problem is not with the community. The problem is with the police policy.
This is my opinion. It's a little too late. Too little, too late.
We're the ones that you have to make the plan for. You know, we're the ones that are saying, hey, there's something broken here, but you're not addressing us. You're addressing people that don't see a problem, like I said before. What are you doing to address the problems? When are you going to be serious about communicating with the community?
Chief Pinion tells me this plan, he believes this new executive plan is a step in the right direction as the city continues to move forward after a difficult past few months. And although he has heard some of the community's concerns with this new plan, he wants to reassure the community that he is still here for them.
I
obviously, if I've been listening for 10 to 11 months, you know, I know there's some people that's not going to be pleased with everything in it, and that's fine. You know, I just need them to know that, hey, I'm still here for them. This department is still here for them. We're going to serve and protect and do what we can to try to make things better, you know. And I think if we don't understand each other and listen and talk and have those conversations and build that kind of the education of why things happen, we can't get better. Several different groups and organizations throughout the city have met with me. You know, it's been extensive time through a lot of this. And look, and like I said before, I've been listening for the last 10 to 11 months. There's been several things that have been put in place and said in different council meetings and other meetings, you know, and even in just conversations that I've had. You know, we tried to take a whole encompassing look at everything, and I think we did a good job with it.
Now, Chief Pinion tells me Decatur Police Department has a national night out event coming up on August 24th from 4 until 8 p.m. at Ingalls Harbor, and he's hoping that this can be the start of rebuilding the connection and communication between the community and law enforcement.
We go to Decatur, where signs allegedly set up by white supremacists have been seen around the city recently. This is one of the signs seen, this one near the Old State Bank building. We've removed the URL to a website run by a group marked by the Anti-Defamation League as an extremist hate group. City Council President Jacob Latner said this weekend he was made aware of another sign spouting similar messaging over the new Highway 20 overpass. Latner confirmed to us that the sign read in part, quote, "White men built our city, white men will save our city," end quote. While that sign was quickly removed, the painted sign by the railroad tracks remains and was the primary topic of public comment during tonight's City Council work session. One resident asking the council if the city would give this incident as much investigation as it has with Steve Perkins demonstrators.
So, are they going to put that same energy into these people?
I think all energy that we can give to that situation needs to be given to it, and it ought to be prosecuted at the highest level it can be. It's totally, well, I can't say the words because I'll make myself get in trouble, but it's totally inappropriate, and it has no place here in Decatur.
Councilmember Hunter Pepper also said he found the banner hung over the overpass as, quote, "disgusting and disgraceful," and hopes that vandalism charges are made against those responsible. Over in Decatur, 2 city council members joined residents to cover up signs allegedly set up by white supremacists within the city. Councilmember Billy Jackson and Councilmember Hunter Pepper joined community members to paint over that sign. Another sign with similar messaging was spotted over the new Highway 20 overpass. It has since been removed. Councilmember Pepper, responding to this incident, said in part, quote, "The city of Decatur should have spoken out immediately. We should have addressed the public and taken a stand on this issue, but we didn't. For that, I feel the citizens in our community are owed an apology." We also reached out to Councilmember Billy Jackson on the matter and are waiting to hear back.
Confirm everybody's out of the building. Not at this time, Captain. I'm suiting up. They did just sound the evac siren. There are people moving out into their muster points. Cannot confirm everyone is out of the building.
You just heard sound from the first hour of response to a major fire at the S&D paper plant in Colbert County. The company has since confirmed that the building has no employees in it on the weekends and no workers were injured. Here's a map to show you where the fire is taking place. The plant itself is located just outside of Cherokee in the unincorporated town of Barton. It's a large facility, but we understand the fire was contained to a large warehouse building and not the surrounding manufacturing facilities. I got Glassman now with a witness to officials' efforts to keep the flames under control.
Mulberry Creek Campgrounds is located just miles away from the S&D paper mill. Early this morning, those sleeping were suddenly awakened.
We heard a boom. It was a very loud boom.
One start an event, 1834 Haley Drive, S&D. Storage plant's going to be fully involved. Flames showing through the roof.
This was the scene at the paper plant. The fire coming from one building ultimately destroyed. The incident didn't take long to worsen.
5-story structure. Heavy fire, heavy smoke coming through the roof.
It's already engulfed in flames. The roof of everything is already engulfed.
This specific plant produces facial tissue.
It was a very intense fire because it is a paper plant. It is a recycling plant. And it's paper. And it caught fire quick. The black smoke was probably half a mile up in the sky.
And while the destruction to the plant is devastating, people who work near and for the plant are worried about their friends' jobs.
There's a lot of folks that work there. So, there's a lot of folks that may not have a job come Monday.
The plant has around 550 people employed. For Randy Lindblad, one of the things going through his mind is the security of the jobs held by those people.
We've been here for several years, and a lot of these folks I know, and I'm worried about their jobs. They might not have a job. There's a lot of good men and women that work there. My concern was, are these folks going to have a job come Monday morning?
In Colbert County, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
As always, the worst situations bring out the best in our neighbors. The teams at Jack's Restaurants and Muscle Shoals jumped into action today to help feed all the men and women who were called to the scene of that plant fire. We're told they bought enough food for more than 150 first responders, representing numerous agencies who were working to keep the community safe.
Of firefighters from agencies across North Alabama, including Mid-Lauderdale, Oakland, and Central, worked overnight hours to mitigate the fire at the Essity warehouse, spraying a constant stream of water over the debris. Thankfully, it was confirmed there were no injuries. The building that caught on fire is a storage warehouse that's completely automated. Brian Dyer, the site's human resources manager, says no people regularly work in that building. This Essity plant primarily makes tissue products under the sub-brand Torque, leading to locals referring to it simply as the tissue plant. The high volume of flammable products in the space likely contributed to the speed with which the fire spread, and an investigation into the cause and future preventative measures will begin when it's safe to do so.
And the Deputy Director of the Colbert County EMA sharing how grateful the county is for the first responders who helped this weekend, sharing on Facebook in part, quote, "Over the past 48 hours, I've witnessed the unwavering dedication of our first responders. We would not be where we are without their service and the service of many other surrounding communities."
Today, no departments are in operation. Everyone is just trying to clean up and pick up the pieces.
All of the employees are on site today assisting with the cleanup process. We are working still with the local commander here to determine where the hot spots are, and they're directing the firefighting to those spots.
What happened is all too clear. Why it happened is the question of the day. Brian Dyer says Essity is working with investigators to determine the cause of Saturday's devastating fire. Barton Volunteer Fire Department Assistant Chief Shane Taylor says the building did exactly what it's designed to do.
We've coordinated operations with the plant to control the fire and contain it. The building itself was designed to do what it has done, to cave in on itself and to protect the other buildings, but it's done marvelously.
Though it will take some time to get the embers extinguished and the rubble cleared, Essity plans to resume business as usual in a matter of days.
Now, the HR manager tells me he's just grateful that no one was in this building when the fire occurred. He also says he's grateful that no one was injured.
Well, new information now on the safety history of the Barton Essity plant. We checked the records at OSHA, the federal agency that inspects industrial facilities, and we found that Essity was cited last year for several concerns at the tissue plant. Initially, 3 serious safety violations along with some minor ones. But after the company addressed the problems, inspectors reduced the penalties and included only 1 serious violation in the final report. That was for concern involving risks posed to workers by certain machinery due to lack of clearance space. Records show the company was fined almost $22,000, but worked with OSHA to remedy the problems. For more coverage on this story, including late-breaking details and emergency dispatcher audio, be sure to visit fox54.com. At least 50,000 people in North Alabama asked to cut back on how much water they're using. The Harvest Monrovia Water Authority issued a Level 2 conservation plan today. The company asking customers to conserve more water, but some residents don't fully agree it completely falls on them. Our Gabe Glassman tells us more.
Harvest Monrovia Water Authority is telling their customers they are moving to a Level 2 conservation plan, meaning residents can volunteer to refrain from using outdoor water, like lawn sprinklers. Officials say it's because of increasing drought conditions and declining water levels.
There's just a lot of rain in the past few months, so a lot of people find it hard to believe that it's drought.
If not enough people volunteer to conserve water, officials could move to the next level, meaning it would be mandatory for residents to reduce their water use.
If people decide that they're going to follow the voluntary order, then it won't go to a level 3, but who knows.
In the Harvest-Monrovia area, a lot of people have complained on social media about recent pipe leaks and flooding in lawns.
There's been water leaks all over. It takes forever to get them to fix them. If this is going on all over the Harvest-Monrovia area, I can see why there's water supply issues.
Phoenix Dukes, owner of his own lawn service company, says it's basic knowledge when it comes to lawns and plants needing water.
It's really just part of the process of keeping things alive, like vegetables, produce, people that have gardens in their backyard.
You see people watering their yards. They want their yards to look nice. They spend a lot of money for their houses and their yards in this area.
Monrovia resident Kim Good says it shouldn't just be up to the residents to fix the problems officials may be having.
Why should we be so concerned about water usage ourselves when they can fix part of the problem?
With residents needing to reduce water usage, there are ways to preserve.
Drip irrigation systems are also a really good idea for your flower beds, so that way you're using less water, but your plants are also still getting watered, so your plants aren't going to die.
In Madison County, I'm Gabe Glassman, FOX54 News.
It's always an exciting time to start the new school year. Students at UAH will be soon, and new student orientations have already kicked off. The university says they're welcoming around 1,800 freshmen and transfers this fall, 75% of which are local. Officials say the goal of these orientations is to give tips, yes, and tricks on how to survive college, but also to guide this transition for the next chapter of their lives.
You're starting an entirely new journey with new classes, a completely different environment, so definitely get involved, but know your limits.
So we want to make sure that they've completed all of those final steps so that their transition when they move in the fall is as smooth as possible.
Definitely. UAH officially starts its fall semester on August 21st. Simon, I hear this student is quite the go-getter.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kenesha. Matthew Dormis, he's a junior from Atlanta, and he's become really involved on campus in just his 2 years so far at Oakwood. He co-anchors the morning student newscast, recently was named Mr. Oakwood campus ambassador, where one of his main projects is improving students' access to mental health resources. He was recently recognized by the White House for his accomplishments. Dormis was named one of 110 students to the White House's HBCU Scholars Program. He participated in virtual meetings over the last couple of months with some other college kids from 23 states and 9 countries focused on leadership development. And this all culminates in a week-long in-person conference in Philadelphia where they'll participate in a hackathon to come up with a solution to a healthcare problem here in America.
So my team and I will be working from now until middle of September to create a business plan or an invention that can solve a specific problem within the lack of health resources for the nation. And if we win that competition, we get a paid trip to go to the NASA Johnson Space Center and present our pitch there. So NASA is all about taking this intellectual property and turning it into a reality in the real world.
Mental health is a cause that's really personal for Dormis. Later this month, Oakwood is opening its first dedicated space on campus that connects students with mental health clinicians. Dormis was one of the student leaders in getting this project together. It's called The Story Room.
I would like to take this project that I started on as Mr. Oakwood a step further. I'd love to see what opportunities, people, and resources that I can connect myself to in this White House program and work on elevating this story room to a new level that not only serves as a resource for the time that I'm here, but years to come.
Municipal elections in Huntsville are in just a few weeks, but before you head to the polls, we're introducing you to the candidates on the ballot. Take a look. These 3 candidates are in the running. Councilmember Devin Keith, who was in his 2nd term on the City Council. Michelle Watkins, who served 2 terms on the Huntsville School City Board. And Reggie McKenzie, who serves on the Community Leadership Committee for the City of Huntsville and also the Huntsville Hospital Healthcare Authority Board. In my sit down with each of them, they all have a different take on how to make the place they call home better. Reggie McKenzie.
North Huntsville is home for me.
Michelle Watkins.
The district means a lot to me because growing up in the district, you get a sense of belonging.
And Devin Keith.
District 1 is the reason that I am the man that I am today.
All call District 1 home. but each candidate has a different approach on how to make the area better. McKenzie says getting the city on board to help advance the area is one of his top priorities.
I have a 10-point plan, but I'll sit down with the mayor and my other council people to let them know, how I feel about, certain things. And after we survey the community, we will make sure that we put those things on the table.
Watkins wants to improve on the infrastructure and doesn't want the budget to be an excuse.
If the budget is not enough, that means that you need to be having the conversations about the budget because the roads are in horrible condition. We need economic development. We need some things going on in the center of District 1. We need some growth. We need some expansion.
And incumbent Devin Keefe wants to keep building on the success of the last 8 years, but says working with the school district has now become a priority.
One, I got to make sure that we support, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, our school system. That affects our property values, that affects how many families want to move here. I have to make sure I continue to support the school system and the new school board candidate. And then secondarily, I have to make sure that we continue to work to bring retail and commercial, what we'll announce on the Parkway and making sure people have restaurants to sit at, places to shop, and things that bring people from around the North Alabama region and North Huntsville.
Let's wrap up our interviews with the District 1 candidates. You can watch any of these interviews and read more about each of their platforms online at FOX54.com.
It's no surprise food insecurity has become prevalent for families in North Alabama. Just take a look at these numbers. Officials say nearly 1 in 4 children in the area suffer from food insecurity. They also say nearly 60,000 children skip meals or eat reduced portions because families simply don't have the money to buy food. Food Bank of North Alabama is looking to help end hunger with their new food distribution center. This facility will be able to store tons of food to serve hundreds of families. Its 50,000 square foot includes 8,000 square feet of cooler and freezer space. The organization is also announcing their Food is the Focus campaign. Well, only 8 IVF clinics are in Alabama. 3 of those are in Huntsville, and out of those 3, 2 of them have labs. But by next year, only 1 IVF lab will be left in the Rocket City. Our Gabe Glassman spoke with what will be the last remaining IVF lab in Huntsville and preparations for more patients.
They have been in the community for 20 years. Dr. Harper was the first IVF clinic in Huntsville.
Huntsville Reproductive Medicine PC, or HRM, is an in vitro fertility clinic in the area who will be closing at the end of the year. Dr. Andrew Harper started the center more than 2 decades ago in 2003.
As an infertility doc, and I'm grateful for him pioneering that first IVF lab in the city.
Dr. Brett Davenport says he used to work under Dr. Harper before starting his own IVF clinic, called the Fertility Institute of North Alabama.
To form an IVF clinic from scratch, I now know what that's like, but at the time I did not. It's very humbling to be able to first work under him and then be able to actually go and do what he did myself.
Davenport stresses the need of IVF clinics for some struggling patients.
When you are struggling to have a child, there's only so much you can do before you've got to have help.
With Huntsville Reproductive Medicine closing, Dr. Davenport's clinic will be the only IVF lab in the area. He says it's an exciting opportunity.
We are definitely expecting, to be able to serve some of the patients that we haven't gotten to serve, yet.
So what's next for the patients of Dr. Harper? For those who have had an IVF procedure and have frozen embryos, HRM, the clinic closing, is building a plan to keep those safe. For those who haven't had any treatment yet,
it'll be fairly easy. You transfer medical records over to our clinic and we will have a consult with you and we'll resume your care and figure out best next steps.
Patients of the clinic do have options when it comes to their medical records. The clinic has already said those records remain confidential and they can be released to the patients directly or they can be transferred to a physician of their choice. In Madison County, I'm Gabe Glassman, Fox 54 News.
Get this. Catch a glimpse of the Rocket City on the big screen with some of Hollywood's biggest stars. It's Amazon Prime's new movie, Space Cadet. The movie, filmed in part at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center, stars Emma Roberts as Rex. Rex is a Florida party girl who finds herself in a NASA astronaut training program after her best friend lies for her on her resume.
Development of a new greenway, parks, and sky bridge and pedestrian bridges along the Pinhook Creek here in the Rocket City are one step closer to becoming a reality. Design contracts for the Pedestrian Access and Redevelopment Corridor, or PARC project, were approved at Thursday's Huntsville City Council meeting. A contract worth $1.9 million with Rosales Plus Partners was approved and voted on by the Huntsville City Council last week. It finalizes plans for the cable suspension bridge across Memorial Parkway. In addition, $5 million were provided by the state to help fund 3 other pedestrian bridges over Pinhook Creek, over half a mile of park space, and 6,000 feet of greenway area. Earlier this year, we spoke to the City of Huntsville's Director of Urban and Economic Development, who shared what the main goal is for their Sky Bridge.
The project's main goal is it will be the hub for our entire greenway network. So connecting greenways all the way into John Hunt Park, into 5 Points, all the way up north to Alabama A&M University and south into South Huntsville. So if you really think about this area along the west side of the VBC, it provides linkage for both pedestrian and bike activity throughout the city.
For more information about the city's PARC project, please visit our website.
2 of the most popular rock acts of all time will be hitting the stage at the Orion Amphitheater this weekend. And for those attending the Styx and Foreigner shows Saturday night, you may see some very familiar faces. That's because Grissom High School's choir will be performing on stage with the band Foreigner. The group will sing with the band on their classic #1 hit, I Want to Know What Love Is. Grissom Choral Director Tucker Ratcliffe shared more on how this is an exciting opportunity and how it came to be.
Every time that Foreigner goes to a city, they ask the radio stations to host a contest for high schools or community choirs to be able to submit a video of them singing I Want to Know What Love Is. And I had a bunch of parents reach out to me on our parent board, as well as students that were like, hey, could we do this?
I'm really excited to get to perform in front of a big crowd. I mean, we get good turnouts for our concerts and all that, but this is definitely going to be our biggest crowd. So I'm excited for that. A little nervous, but I'm excited.
I'm sure they're going to do well. Well, if you want to catch the Grissom Choir perform this Saturday, tickets for the Styx and Foreigner concerts are still on sale with prices starting around $30.
For the 3rd year in a row, the Fox 54 weather team was awarded Weather Rate's most accurate forecast in the Tennessee Valley. Accuracy counts, and you can count on Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman and Emily Owen, certified as the most accurate weather forecast in the Tennessee Valley. Get Fox 54 Plus for Roku and Fire TV. Watch local newscasts live or on your schedule, plus exclusive specials like Weekend Review, a recap of the week's top stories. Fox 54 Plus, live, local, and always on.
The school year is in full swing. It's the perfect time to remind you that Fox 54's top teacher is back for the new semester. We want to spotlight the teachers and staff making a difference at your kids' schools. Nominate a teacher today, and details on how to do that are at fox54.com. Weekend Review returns next weekend, same time, same place. For the news team, I'm Kenesha Dees. See you next time.